turn these sounds down a little bit. So, a lot of controversy going on with everything right now. I don't know if this thing has any cheats. So yeah, there's been a lot of controversy going on in the King's Isle, Wizard 101. Some of the things that have been said have been really stupid on both sides, to be honest. Bringing up that, for one thing, I'll be the first to admit, some of some of the tweets I saw out of context, he did, Ratbeard, it was a little bit abrasive. Nothing unsurprising, really. I've been in that perspective. I've been in that situation before where I've wanted to say, just be flat out, yeah, this is garbage, your idea wouldn't work. I've been in that situation before when I've had people test some of the mini games I've made, like the really simple games when I was in college, when I'm still in college still, with some of the games I've made during my way in college and some of the like micro games that I made back in middle school. Like, your idea won't work. And then, like, at first, when I first heard that, I'm gonna be totally admitting, I didn't really like seeing that. But the more and more that I've been paying attention to this community, like actually been paying attention, at least when it comes to these updates, I can kind of see why he would have that kind of reaction. Like, even more so than from what I normally would with just my normal perspective on it, of just being a game dev and knowing that sometimes it is pretty hell and that people do come with you with really stupid ideas. But seeing some of the other players in this, I'm not naming any names because I didn't memorize any of them, but the amount of toxicity directed at the developers, it's just insane. Like, this update, for example, there's literally only really one thing that's really kind of bad with this update. It's literally just pet hatching costs too much. That's it. That's the whole thing. But the entire community has just erupted into, this is the absolute worst thing that has ever happened ever in the history of video games. It's just insane. I can't speak on the PvP changes, but from what I've seen from Wizard 101 Central and some other people that have actually PvP'd, the turn-based thing, that was something that was asked for, or that's something that's been kind of thought about. I can't speak on the tournament thing, because when I was reading that, I didn't see that as we're completely disabling tournament things. It's we're reworking the tournament. I can't speak on that. I think that was also one of the bad things of the tournament thing. Like, no rewards for a while, though, but pretty much every single update, the will casts, those were good. Speaking of will casts, actually, people went back into the developers, into Ratbeard's post history on Twitter, and found a Twitter post from 2009 of Ratbeard's 6-year-old, of Ratbeard basically saying, hey, my son had this cool idea, maybe we might implement it in the future. And people are saying, oh my god, look, Ratbeard is so horrible, he's taking his son's idea and it's completely ruining the entire pet system. His son's idea had absolutely nothing to do with the part of pets that people are hating with this. His son didn't say, hey dad, can you make the pets can you make the pets cost 3 times as much to hatch? No, his idea was just will casts. His whole idea for pets was making the will cast thing of maybe there should be like a side thing for your pet to cast that you can use and then it'll cast inside the thing. That's the only idea that his son came up with and gave to him. But people are taking this post that he made and are making it seem like the entire pet update, the will casts, the getting experience from playing the main quests. Another thing that I absolutely love, because I am absolutely, I hate the pet game. I don't hate the pet games. I'm bored by the pet games. They're fun in like short bursts, but I can't force myself to sit through them for long periods of time. But that's what I like about these. Like when I was doing testing in on the test realm for this pet thing, I was able to get a pet from baby to ancient in 5 hours just going through the main quest. Going from Wizard City up to Mushu, up to the end of Mushu pretty much. I got up to just about ancient. Of course, I was feeding my pet also a bunch of gear and stuff along the way, but that's to be expected. Just to give it a little bit of an extra boost. But yeah, and also I found out that Grizzleheim also gives, and it's not just the main worlds that give experience points either, it's also side worlds. So I know Grizzleheim for a fact does it, so I assume Wintertusk also. I didn't get a chance to test out Wisteria, because for the wizard that I was testing on, it literally was just a brand new wizard I was farming through with my max storm. And I really didn't feel like doing all those solo battles in Wisteria that you're forced to do. Especially because they all cheat. So I just put that off for a little bit. And I'm going to be doing it tomorrow when it all comes back on. But back to the point at hand. Back to what I was saying before. Wizard 101's community, the toxic part of it at least, the part that's on Twitter and the part that's on Reddit that's going out of their way to try and demonize Ratbeard. I saw like 4 petitions on Reddit saying you need to fire this person. He's not doing anything that's fireable. Should he and I can't really say anything about that because at least as far as I know, the worst that he did was he was a little bit abrasive in one of his texts, or not tweets to someone. That's understandable. After seeing this vitriol that's thrown at him, people saying this is the worst update. This is one of the better updates that I've seen. Awesome new story. I have no real strong opinion on the willcast, at least the base ones like the attack ones. Willcast Feint, Willcast Hex, I think, was one of them. There was a lot of really interesting willcasts that I saw data mined, or leaked, rather. It's looking like that would be pretty awesome. And since I think I like it, the gold thing, yeah, it's not that great. Doesn't affect me. I can't really speak negatively on that. I can understand why people who only do pets would probably be upset about that. But that one thing isn't enough to say that this is the worst update ever. It's literally... It really isn't. And yet so many people are just focusing on this. Let me go look up the update notes, actually, just so I can go look up the update notes so I can go and see what else they added really quick. So I'm not just talking out my butt. Okay, there we go. A bunch of new pets. I haven't done the play as your pet thing, but that thing looked really interesting too. Pet mastery. That's also helpful because I hate doing the mini games. Pet happiness. also kind of neutral. The pet stuff I'm kind of neutral on, but from what I remember reading, like, because there was just one person on Central. I'll look to see if I can find their post, and I'll link it in the description down below once this video is up. But, yeah, so from what I looked, it was all the UI changes. That's what I also meant. The UI is beautiful now. The only complaint I have is that you can't see the cards anymore. That's little. Buy on inspect. Being able to see where people farmed for their gear. That's great. Not only were they farmed for their gear, but both the gear that the stats came from and the gear that the stitch came from. That's literally what 90% of the questions on these Wizard 101 Discords I've seen. It's, hey, where do you get this? Where do you get this armor that I saw? It's literally just someone taking a screenshot. I've had that issue too, where I've seen a piece of armor that I think is really, really awesome, but I can't get it because I have no idea where you get it from. This thing, the UI, the buy on inspect, that's cool. Fellspawn, the boss is super easy right now. It's gonna get nerfed, absolutely. The balance cheat that you can completely avoid. Let me quickly look up. Does this person have any cheats? Okay, no, they don't. Fellspawn. He's gonna get nerfed into the ground. The balance thing is gonna get put away, but the idea of the Fellspawn in general, I like it. I like crafting. God damn it. But I don't like the that was over half my health. But I don't like farming the catacombs for thousands of regents for a slight chance at getting something. I don't like that. I mean, I like farming, but I like farming for gear. If I'm going to farm for regents, I just want to be running around a dungeon and doing it. Getting all this stuff for gear, it doesn't appeal to me. So I'm going to be farming the absolute butt off of, I'm going to be farming the absolute butt out of Fellspawn when it comes out. I don't care what cheats it has. I will find a way. I will find some guide online and help myself to it. Because gosh darn it, I need that. I need a person that I can just farm for gear. I don't care how low. Yes, the drop rate's low. From what I remember, the drop rate is always low on the test room. I remember when I was doing the catacombs on this, the drop rate was incredibly low. I don't know if they upped the drop rate in the live realm, because I'm still too lazy to actually go out and do the catacombs. This is probably not going to work. Oh, thank God she just did a trap. Please. So what else was there in the update notes? But the first time user experience, the new Triton Avenue. Some of the art in it, the story is really fun. The updates to Duncan, making him even more of a butthole. Oh yes, yes, are amazing too. Everything about this, except, yeah, there's Khrysalis farming too, but who gives a butt about that? Not Khrysalis farming, Khrysalis fishing. Beast Moon, I'm actually probably going to be starting on that soon. And here comes the other owl, and I'm going to die. Oh, thank God. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. All I wanted to say about the thing. Guys, please lay off the devs. Please. You're not helping your case. The whole reason that KI isn't listening to you is because you just attack them. It doesn't matter if everything else in the update is good. If you just completely ignore it all and say, this is bad because it's bad, I don't know what to tell you. If you just say the entire update is bad because it has one thing in it, it is bad. The one thing, the update, the upped pet cost, I will 100% admit, it's a bad thing. It should be changed. The cost should be lowered, but it doesn't make the entire update bad. The vast majority of the update is some very much needed quality of life improvements across the board. Pretty much everything except for the pet costing thing. Heck, even with the pet update thing, the pet cost update, you can now hatch pets for gold. You can now pay in gold what used to cost crowns, at least if I was reading it correctly, and what all the complaints I saw were correctly, where it costs 150k gold to hatch a pet. That's good. I don't like spending crowns on my pets, and they're making it so you don't have to spend crowns on your pets anymore. At least not as much. You can now just go in, make a new wizard, put your pet on there, and run them up through the game, carrying them on an alt account or something with a storm, or getting a friend to carry you up on a storm, or just run through the game as quick as possible on that character. It's really that easy. And it's completely free, and it doesn't use up any mega snacks either. You still have to pay for the areas if you're a member, or not member, if you're a Crowns player. I mean, if you already bought the areas and then you have a max, I guess it wouldn't really matter. But if you're just going through the game, it's completely free as far as your pet is concerned. You don't have to pay for mega snacks. You don't have to waste mega snacks anymore on a failed pet. You can literally pay absolutely 0 mega snacks on a failed pet. You can go through the game, leveling it up as you go all the way to Imperia on your wizard. Is this Scorpion ever going to not critical? Back at the question at hand, because I'm doing this live. You can bring your pet all the way through the game, get it up to Ultra when you get to Imperia, and whippy woppy wazoo! Huzzah! You've now got a max pet that you didn't have to invest in anything but time. No crowns, because you were already playing through the story. You were paying the crowns to play the story, not the pet, or you're paying the membership to play through the story, not for the pet. There is like no downside. The only downside really is just the cost of hatching it. But you no longer have to spam mega snacks or waste mega snacks on failed pets with this. Yeah, it'll be a little bit slower, but I don't know, I think it's a pretty good deal to be able to get that kind of pet. I think it's a pretty good deal in my opinion. I mean, I can't really say all that much because I'm not a pet person. As you can see, I mean, I do have a... Oh, thank God it's not a critical. But I'm not a pet person. I'll tell you that right now. But at least reading this, because I know the major thing about all pets has been, I don't like wasting mega snacks on failed pets. Now you just have to wait. I got all the way to Mushu in 5 hours, and I spent most of that day off. I spent most of the day, like, doing other things. If I can do that, and I will be the first to admit, despite the fact that I'm soloing in Khrysalis, that I am one of the worst people at this game. I don't PvP. I don't really do anything. My strategy for Darkmoor is literally just to fill up my deck with 2 to 5 pip hits and just spam. Just do a rolling spam on everything. That's it. That is what my strategy in Darkmoor is. I'm not good at this game. Every single time that I've ever been able to do something really quickly, it's not been because of something that I thought of. It's been because I'm reading a guide online that someone better at this game than me thought of. And I'm perfectly okay with admitting that. I am not super... I don't know where my point was. I'm stupid. Oh yeah. If someone that's as bad at this game as me can do that, imagine what some of these people with these amazing pets already can do. The people that already have the Dragoon gear. Just imagine how much they'll be able to get done. How quick... The game will go by so quickly for them. Just from a game... Back to the game designer's perspective. Someone mentioned something earlier about there being a game design Discord for Wizard 101. Yeah, that's normal. Someone said that it was a bad thing that another critical. Gosh darn it. Someone said it was a bad thing that thing exists. Game developers use Discord almost as much as gamers do. I have got Discords that are like 6 months old, or like 2 years old actually, from games that I was making in college that I used Discord on. Game developers use Discord because it's an easy way to talk to people, but it's also semi-private, so you don't have to worry about things leaking super easily. Granted, it still leaks, but... But the fact of them having a developer Discord, like what this person was this person was implying it as like a negative thing that they have it. It really wasn't. It's not. It's just a thing that developers do. It's not bad for them to have a means of communication and direct communication with the community to an extent. I don't really know what else to say. The Discord... No, that's just me repeating what I literally just finished talking about a second ago. Bottom line really is just... stop. Please. Please, please just... think about the developers a little bit. I'm not saying that you have to agree with absolutely everything that KingsIsle is doing with the game. They're not perfect developers. Nobody is a perfect developer. There is no such thing as a perfect developer, and there never will be. But, by God, get just a little bit of perspective and try to think. I know... being a game dev is really difficult. It's even more difficult talking about YouTube stuff when I'm talking about stuff when I'm in the middle of trying to focus on a game, but that's a different story, and that's my own fault for trying to do it anyways. I also don't have a script, which is probably issue with this. Here comes another sirens. Oh, thank goodness it's just a tempest. Gosh darn it. Holy mother mercy. Well, that minion was a waste of pips. But yeah, just keep a little perspective on the updates. Think about more than just the negatives of them. There is just like there's no perfect developer, there is no such thing as a perfect update. There will be things you dislike about everything. Don't go and call them the worst updates ever just because it ruins. That's part of the reason why the developers. That's part of the reason why Ratbeard has the negative opinion of the community that he does. Or I can't say that he does because I don't know him. That's part of the reason I assume why he would have such that poignant response of garbage take to someone, because it is really difficult. By God, I can't risk anymore. I'm getting off tangents so much. I am so sorry, folks. Just remember that King's Isle are people too. Okay? They're people just like you and me. And just because you dislike one major thing, admittedly, in an update, that doesn't mean that the entire update is complete and total garbage. Think of the positives, too. And don't let yourself be discouraged, just because. Don't let yourself be discouraged, please. There goes my 50% Deathblade. Gosh darn it. There goes my life. Oh, that was kind of random. But yeah, so just keep a perspective. 150k pet gold. Hopefully it doesn't stick. It probably will. But at the end of the day, the update as a whole is good. The update as a whole is pretty good. Just keep that perspective. And if you want people to pay attention to what you have to say, at least try to say it with a little bit of tact. Don't just go on the attack. Don't just insult. Don't just demand someone be fired. Don't say that. If someone's being negative to you, don't respond with negativity. It's never going to work. Especially if that person is the person that's in charge of something. If you want someone to do something for you, you have to be nice to them. Insulting them will not fix. Insulting Ratbeard, asking for him to be fired, is not going to get you, is not going to get him to say, maybe I should lower the pet's cost. It's not. It's just going to make him drive in his heels further. Because he's just going to see you as what you really are right now, a bunch of whining children. Because that's what whining children do. You're stomping your feet and complaining about a minuscule part of a great update and saying, you made this one mistake, so now, or not one mistake, you did something that I dislike, so now I'm going, and you're kind of acting a little bit cocky, so now I'm going to ask for you to be fired and lose your income. You're saying... Just... Oh, it's so difficult to talk. I am so bad with words. This pet update and him being cocky over the last few... Like, yeah, he's been sarcastic and cocky. It's not worth firing him over. It isn't. You've got to be kidding me. Well, time to go get a bunch of, hopefully I got some Storm Shield treasure cards. That's pretty much all I had to say on that issue, but the controversies and everything. Really? No storm shields? Guess this is the best I'll have to do. Bunch of elemental shield is not nearly as good, but I guess it'll have to do. Sorry for the otherwise serious. Oh, so I can just get rid of that. Get rid of that. There we go. I got a much more concise deck. I'm to just spam so many shields. Should probably go and change the name of this a little bit. There we go. Test room controversies and perspective from a game dev. Also Khrysalis questing. Oh yeah, this boss has Enfeeble. Yeah, so looking for this is the Death Wizard. One of my 7 Amber Lights. I've got a lot of them. I've got 7 because it's the name of my YouTube channel. Let's get this minion out here. Yeah, hit me with your claws, baby. Hit me with them. So yeah, Malduit has been an absolute incredible asset throughout Khrysalis. Every single boss fight she's done incredible except for this one. I'm just kidding, she's doing great. Looks like she's building up. Oh, thank God, it's just a Tempest. Good thing I put up that shield. Death is probably one of my favorite schools. Totally not just because of Khrysalis Sasha. Thank you for taking away her attention. Allows me to get a little bit more of a prep time in. And it's so much better that I'm going from first now, because now I can do this stuff. I probably should have put feints in, but I'm a lazy little butt, so I'm just gonna go for 3 really big hits with Dr. Vaughn. Should probably just put... Nah, I'm going to change it to Baleful Empress. Is it Baleful Empress? What's her name again? Yeah, it's Baleful Empress. Ooh, nice. Almost got half of her health. I got 2 rounds, 2. Bulk up on shields. I still need a farm for that spell. Speaking of which, I've still got a farm for Pigsy on my life, too. And now I'm going to reshuffle. Probably going to get fizzled by this. At least she's out of pips for now. I'm sorry, I've got really bad commentary. Yeah, I got fizzled. But yeah, I really can't wait for the next world to come out. I am so excited, really. Man, I just... Like, the only thing that's pushing me through this to get to the end through Khrysalis... The only thing that was pushing me through Azteca, actually, was just the desire to get to the Arcanum. I want so badly to finally get a death into the Arcanum. I've got one really close But I'm just so lazy with that wizard. I can't bring myself to. I don't know what it is, but I just can't bring myself to level up that wizard. Both of the wizards in it are pretty high level as it is. They're both in Polaris. They're both like level 106. I guess I just want to have Amber be my first death wizard to the... Not both, because the other wizard is a life wizard that I'm leveling up as well. I've got 4 different accounts on this, because... Crazy. But yeah. I really do like this game, and I really don't want to see it go anywhere. Oh, not go. That sounds horrible. Makes it sound like I don't want it to thrive. I want this game to thrive more than anything. I want this game to last a long time, and I want to eventually, at some point in the future, be part of the group that's helping make it. I literally want to make part of this game. I want to work here, help with ideas, help design spells, help design worlds. It's such a dream of mine. This and Sly Cooper are really the only 2 games that have made me really want to become a game dev, because they're the only games not make me want that made me past tense, because I am a game dev now, not in this game, in my own games, all my fun stuff. Yay. But yeah, I really just want to make games like Wizard. Really, really fun games. Card games, thieving games, trimping games, plague simulators. Go Malduit. You're doing... Oh my god, I hate you so much right now. Well, looks like it's going to be another few rounds, because you just prolonged your own death. That's all you managed to do. You just prolonged your own death. Was it worth it? And that's why I'm finally going to get Aegis on one of my wizards. If it's not being sharpened, it's being enchanted with Aegis. Because I am sick and tired of Storm and Myth. Not the schools. I'm sick and tired of Storm bosses and Myth bosses earthquaking and all that jazz. It's annoying. Yep, she's dead. Don't worry, you'll be back in two rounds, Malduit, once I heal myself a little bit, because this person decided to prolong their own death. Unless I get a critical, which would be nice. Gosh darn it, I knew it would be too good, too much to ask for. Even if it was a critical, it would only done 6,550, I think? Something like that. Don't worry, Malduit, you're back. You just keep up on that chip damage. once I finish this boss, this stream's gonna be over. Because it really was just supposed to be about the, just to get up a few shields while I wait for my pips to build up, because I don't want to die. And it's good to finally use treasure cards. Just the first time I've ever used treasure cards outside of Treasure Card Cleanse. Yeah, I don't ever really use treasure cards. That's how bad of at this game I am. That thing that you're seeing around me where the kind of things are just like, it looks like they're melding together or glitching through each other. Z-fighting, that's your game-analogy term of the day. It's when two objects are in the exact same position in a game engine and their textures fight with one another to be on top. That's your game terminology of the day. Z-fighting. I don't know why it's called Z-fighting. Honestly, I do kind of like it with, Oh yeah, another thing I wanted to talk about is, it's not really part of the controversy at all. It's more of just a general... I can kind of see what kind of issue they're in. The Malastare Rattlebone... This is a hot take from me. Rattlebone's Malastare and Tennyson robes are unhelpful or unhealthy for the game in the long run. It's an unpopular opinion, but it is kind of true. At least the way that the game is designed right now. Because they're too good, in all honesty. They're too balanced, too perfect. They would need to go through, because of their existence, King's Isle is somewhat forced to they're never going to make a good robe again as long as those robes are in existence, because they are too good. And the issue with that is they're too good because they're too balanced, which is weird to say, but it's true. They're balanced in the sense that, yes, they have a balance of all the stats, but they're broken because they're just all the stats high. You get what I'm trying to say there? KI kind of dug themselves into a hole with the Darkmoor and then doubling down on it with the Crocopatra and Rattlebone's robes. But it doesn't change the fact at the end of the day of that, because those robes exist, and they're helping with the ever-increasing power creep of the game, there isn't ever going to be eventually, if they have two options essentially right now with their robes. They can keep on the path they're going, continually making the robes like completely resistant based, and no one is going to use them because Darkmoor, Malice, Darkmoor, Tenzin, and yada yada yada, because those all have the damage boost, and why would you give up damage for just resist? It doesn't matter how much damage your hat and your boots give you, if you can still get another 25% from your robe, you're never going to use something that doesn't give you that. You're never going to use it unless you're specifically building a tank build, which a lot of people, I mean, I guess a lot of people in PvP are, but a lot of people really aren't building things that these robes can use. So they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. They want to make more gear diversity. They've said this many times. They want to make gear more diverse. They don't want to have everyone just wearing the exact same gear. But at the same time, as long as these robes exist, nobody's going to wear something other than these 3 robes. So they're stuck. They either can keep on this trying to make robes that are not damage focused but still good in their somewhat own right. But then there's the damage, and what they're going to end up having to do eventually, and it's not going to be pretty, they're going to have to change the Malastair. Like, they will eventually have to change these Malastair robes and stuff to be resist robes, and probably move the damage over to be split between the helmet, and the boots. Because if they don't, they're gonna have to eventually. Then it's just kind of pointless to keep making new robes because nobody's gonna use them. And if they do wind up making another robe like Malastair, then eventually they're going to get to a point where the stats on these robes, not these robes, on these gear sets get so astronomically high that they'll have to make the game so difficult just for the group of people that are farming for these. They'll have to make it so difficult for them because they're the people that are spending all the time, especially because they're making it crafted. Well, they did add Fellspawn, so that's good. They're going to have to make the game more difficult to the point that it's virtually impossible for anybody, unless they have this gear, to do the game, to play the game. Anyways, on that interesting note, this has been Amber Light bringing you a little bit of controversy talk on my semi-occasional Wizard 101 stream. I don't have a set in stone schedule because I'm horrible like that. I'll see you all on the flip side. Peace.